Hey there, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the WBase and Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com. Matt Durant, joined each and every week by the head coach of the Hofstra softball program, Larissa Anderson, just coming back from a two-loss weekend down at Delaware in CAA play. Coach, just your overall thoughts on the first day, because this seems to be something that we talk about a lot, is splitting doubleheaders. What happened on the first day?
Oh, we didn't really necessarily play very well. Szymanski threw a great game against us in game one. We had opportunities with runners in scoring position. We just didn't have quality at bats and being able to capitalize in the opportunities that we had. We pitched well enough to win both games. Jess Peslak threw a great game, and we just have to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that we have when we have runners in scoring position and have better quality at bats.
Seemed like nearly all of the offense was brought in by the home runs. Now, how much of that do you want to have to rely on moving forward? I know we talked about that a little bit last week as well, just the home run, the long ball versus playing the short ball game, the small ball game. How much do you want to have to rely on just home runs to get your offense?
The good thing is that when you do have the home run potential, you're never out of a game, because one swing can get you right back in the ball game. So that is a good thing. The bad thing is that you can't just rely on that we have to have better at-bats and being able to get runners on early in the game, put the pressure on the defense, and to be able to capitalize and not just solely rely on that home run. That's where we need to do a better job. And you know, the same thing happened on Sunday, that we didn't have quality at-bats. We scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and then we cooled off, and our at-bats got worse rather than better.
You got home runs from everywhere in the lineup. You got them from Transu, as well as Lacey Clark, Ambrielle Petrofessa. Just talk about how you think, it seems like everybody in this lineup can contribute. It's just a matter of getting them all to do it at the same time.
And that's the magic potion. You know, that's something that you're always trying to work towards. And at the same time, that it's one of those things that, yes, anybody can get hot at any given time, which is a great thing to have, and anybody in the lineup can hit a home run, but we can't have just one home run from one player during the course of the game. We have to have better at-bats and be able to have loud outs and not just rely on that home run, because on days that you don't have it and the pitcher's dominating or the wind's blowing in, you can't expect that you're going to have that.
Well, you talked about how well you thought Jess Peslak did now in game 2. What did you like from in the circle, despite just how the day went as a whole?
On day two, she pitched well enough. She was cruising along, and then you saw the fatigue start to sit in. And we know we don't have a lot of depth in our bullpen, and it was unfortunate that her pitch count got so high early on in the game. That's what really set her where she got into trouble, where she was at 97 pitches in the 5th inning, which is high for her. So it's one of those things that we had our opportunity, and if we scored more runs, it doesn't put as much pressure on our pitching staff. You know, when she gave up that 3-run home run in the 5th to make it a 4-3 ball game, she's got to do a better job, and we had to make better pitches in that situation.
I think a week ago I was asking you because Peslak had, I believe, 133 pitch count game 1 of her weekend, and the second game was right around 115. Now, moving forward, what do you think you have to get from Courtney Scarpato and Madison Grimm in order to really cut the pitch count for Peslak and relieve her of some of that fatigue you mentioned?
It does, and Grimm came in on Saturday, and she had a great outing. Very, very quality. She only had a couple balls hit hard off of her. And I was hoping that she turned the corner, and it was great, and which is why I gave her an opportunity on Sunday. She came into the game and got a key out for us when I relieved her from Peslak yesterday. And then the next inning she came in and she didn't do what she needed to do, and she didn't attack the hitters early in the count, and she ended up walking the bases loaded. And she needs to get better. She knows she needs to get better. You know, I got to continually put her out there because she needs that experience, but she's got to be able to put the ball in play, because we can't defend a walk. Scarpato has to understand her role and keep the ball down in the zone to create ground balls. When she leaves the ball up, obviously it's going to get hit hard, and it's players that have never relieved in their entire life and understanding what role that they have in order to make the team successful.
It seems like certain parts of the year so far you've seen Madison Grimm succeed in the bullpen and succeed in the circle as a starter, and for Scarpato the exact same thing. You've seen flashes in both roles.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you have to do to get consistency out of those so you can rely on them in a single role rather than switching them back and forth?
It's all mental. It's completely mental, and understanding what their approach needs to be and what they're capable of doing when they're called upon. I don't expect someone to go in and strike out the side. I mean, that would be absolutely great, but if Scarpato's strength is not striking people out. Her strength is creating ground balls in those situations. So she needs to understand her strength and be able to pitch to her strength and not try to do too much. And that's exactly what those two freshmen are doing.
It seems like at the start of the season, the doubleheaders on Saturday and then the third game on Sunday, there were a lot of splits on Saturday, but you would win out on Sunday. Now this past weekend, you lost the Sunday game. What do you think has to happen to maybe create consistency on the Saturdays and win both ends of the doubleheader?
We have to take one game at a time. And what I've seen, and Delaware was a little bit different, where we lost the first game and we ended up winning the second game, which hasn't happened all year. What I was seeing prior to is we win the first game, and then mentally we didn't concentrate and prepare ourselves for that second game, where we took it for granted that we won the first game, and the opposing team is going to come back and try to beat you, and we have to elevate our game there. To win on Sunday, we got to be tougher. We really do have to be tougher, and I continually tell the team that tough teams win on Sunday, that we have to make adjustments, and you can't keep doing the same thing because you're going to get the same result. And we have to be stronger in the box. We have to be mentally tougher. We have to lay out and make some more plays defensively to be able to take the pressure off of our pitching staff.
It sounds like it's a lot of just consistency. Last season, you went with 1 through 9 was relatively the exact same from late March until Florida in June. Now, with pitching, obviously you had Perone and Lashley. With this team this year, do you see any tinkering that has to go on in order to create a little bit more success, or are you still comfortable with what you have? You just need to find the consistency within that?
I've been moving. Our DP is almost different every single game. I have a lot of hitters in that position that can capitalize, and a lot is depending on who the opposing pitcher is, what the strength is of that pitcher, and who can I best put into that role, because we have so much versatility. And I'm constantly looking at some situational stats. Where do I need to put players in to give them the best opportunity to be successful? Who scores very, very well when runners are scoring position? Who hits the ball hard in those situations? Who's a great leadoff hitter? So I'm constantly moving people around to put them in a position to be the most successful, to give us the best opportunity to score as many runs as possible.
And before I let you go, just a quick question. Since the last time we spoke, a handful of your games were canceled later in the month with St. Peter's and Lehigh, correct?
Yes.
What does that do to your schedule? They're non-conference games, but those seem to be the times where you do tinker a little bit more to try to hammer out the details in your lineup and your pitching staff. How much does that affect your team?
It does. I mean, it's one of those times athletes want to play games, and you want to have consistency, and you want to get in a great routine, and it's unfortunate because we would be able to play at home, which we haven't done probably in about a month. So yes, it does hurt, but it also gives us an opportunity to work on some things in practice that we need to work on. Hopefully we can make up a couple of those games midweek so we can have a little bit more consistency in our schedule, to be able to play home, to be in a comfort zone at home, to be able to carry that momentum into a home conference weekend, which we need to do. So hopefully it does work out, and if it doesn't work out, we'll try to create that situation in practice.
She's the head coach of the Hofstra Pride softball program, Larissa Anderson. I'm Matt Durant. We'll be back here next week right here on GoHofstra.com.